This upcoming one is another Turntable Teachers alumni. This is Dev Soter with one of his latest songs off of his brand new EP that's called the Dida Tapes. I also highly recommend that. And this song is called Brainless. Dev Soter's Brainless track from the Dida Tapes.
Yo, Dev Soter, shout out to you. Just followed me back on Instagram too. Not gonna lie, that made my day. Cause I got put on to Dev Soter through your last year's the accumulative list of like the best songs from Massachusetts that you put out. Yep. That's when I caught wind of Dev Soter from Mike. And what was the song that you had on that list?
That was Hills, which is also on the Dida Tapes. So that was the lead single for the Dida Tapes.
Yeah. And Hills I enjoyed very, very much. I think Dev has a specific sound. He has a specific voice. And I think, it's people like, Dev Soter that like, one also remind me that like hip hop has such a large influence in how people make music today, even with people who have what I can tell from Dev, especially after listening to Brainless, he clearly has a palette that's not hip hop exclusively. You know what
definitely
I mean?
Not. No way.
But on Hills, he was kind of rapping. On Hills, he was kind of rapping and getting into some cool, moody, like introspective stuff. So like I really enjoyed Hills. And then there was a problem on streaming services where Hills was unavailable for me, but I think that has been remedied since. But so when I saw this on the list, I was definitely looking forward to it. First thing I saw was the cover art. I thought the cover art was really cool. A little like almost like he looks like he's at a beach or in some sunny day with some t-shirt over him. I don't know. It just looked cool. It fits his aesthetic, And I think what I also like about Dev Soter is the aesthetic. Like, he just seems like a chill, laid-back dude that I would, like, call up and be like, bro, like, I don't know, want to go burn? And just, like, drive off in, like, a 70s, like, mystery van-looking thing. I don't know. Like, maybe I'm going off the rails. But with this one, like, I liked this because this gave me, like, a beach, almost like a beach hip-hop kind of, like, not beach rock. And I don't even know if I know exactly what beach rock sounds like. But, like, this gave me, like, a
maybe
beachy... yeah, this gave me, like, a beachy hip-hop, funky, but poppy. And I saw that it was actually... He categorized it as a pop single, like, in the genre. But it's definitely hip hop in there. You know what I mean? And just in terms of the way he flows, right? Right? Yeah. So in terms of like the way he's flowing in there, not just like the songwriting, but as a vocalist himself, he definitely goes. He definitely has a wide range on this song.
Yeah.
Even though it's so short. It's
so
short.
I know. Packed so much into that, like 2 minutes.
Yeah, he did. He really brought me to like a couple different places, with such a short song. I got some lyrics written down here. I really like kind of he reiterates like your friends really hate me. Who would have thought? You know what I mean? I like a lot of those, or like he has a couple lines where it's like. I'm here or something's happened and who would have thought, and it's kind of like he almost kind of says it like tongue-in-cheek, it's like, and that's where I get this really laid back nonchalant like, yo, this guy is emotional but is keeping it cool, man. Like he keeps cool, it cool, which I liked a lot. I got another line. I've been chasing something that's faceless. That's part of the hook. I really, really liked that bar. I won't give you a dime. All I have is time, and you waste it.
I wrote that one down, too.
That's a bar.
That's
a bar. I won't give you a dime because all I have is time, and you waste it. Again, it's, like, insightful, like, or profound kind of things. And again, we talked about how he jumps from kind of flows. It sounds hip hoppy, but this is where it just sounds straight like songwriter, and it's kind of like it's almost kind of hidden by like how cool his vocal melodies are.
Yeah,
and that's what I love. I love when the sonics and just the sounds on the surface of an artist is captivating, and then when you start to pay attention to the lyrics, they just add to that. So
1000%.
I really enjoyed this, and like I said, he also has a real cool falsetto kind of delivery on the first half of the hook. Like we said, there's some range in this 1 minute and 50-second song. You know what I mean? And it's like, but it's also catchy enough because it does have a hook that repeats. And I at the end of it was like, damn, it's over. You know what I mean? I wanted some more. So
yeah.
And that's always a good thing, right? You want to leave them wanting more. So I guess he definitely
accomplished that.
Yeah, accomplished that 1000%. And honestly, it was so short that it repeated on my laptop when I was playing it through today for the last time. And I just it just looped nicely, and I was like, yeah, I will listen to this for another 2 minutes. Like what's that?
You got me, Dev.
Tops. Yeah, like so it was a really solid listen. And like I said, man, I'm not trying to say this is clouding my view, but he followed me back on Instagram, so clearly he's a solid guy with an eye for good content. And but yeah, no, like I said, you put me on, Mike, so shout out to you. And how do you feel about Brainless?
So I loved Hills, of course. It was my number 14 song. I think 14 or 13, one of those two. It was I was like the middle of the teens on my top 20 Massachusetts songs from last year. And Hills was the lead single for Dida Tapes. And I think Brainless is actually the second single. And the Dida Tapes, for anybody that hasn't heard it yet and also heard the guest speaker episode that we did with Dev, that was only maybe like a month ago, if that. So definitely go check that out. I love this song though, man. Like Hills is probably my favorite still from that Dida Tapes, but like Brainless is either like a close second, or there's even a song on there that's called Too Fast that's really, really good too. I just love the psychedelic, like funky nature of this song, like the cool guitars and the bass at the forefront, just the overall personality of it. And I agree with a lot of the sentiments you had too. You covered quite a bit that I was going to say, like, I love his vocal range, the high falsettos, the deeper like emotional notes that he hits, like the lower tones. And he even like what I gotta get from like aesthetically and like or sonically, I should say, like he's very much like into really like that Brockhampton bag, that Dominic Fike bag, if you will, like those types of artists. Or even so much as to say, go as far, like if you hear certain songs from Andre 3000, Love Below, I even think there's a little bit of that too, like with the funk.
High praise from Mike Scarfo. You get now the Outcast comparison. That's high praise right there.
Just in terms of influence, Dev, I'm sorry, I know Dev's going to be definitely listening to this because he's very much a friend of the show. I'm not saying you're Andre 3000, so let's just get that situated. No one is Andre 3000 in my book.
Yeah, and
okay?
That's
even a chance.
Nothing you can argue with.
There's nothing you can do about
Andre.
That. There's nobody's Andre. But I'm saying in terms of the influence, I can kind of hear, or not even influence, maybe because he wasn't influenced by that potentially. I have no.
But it's like a wide palette. I can hear that. Like someone like Andre who's not afraid to play with their vocals and still sound hip hoppy. I hear that.
Yeah, so I'm just more like, yeah, exactly. I'm more making the comparison of what he did on Love Below is a little bit similar to what Dev's doing here with this project, in particular with a song like Brainless. And I love the effects of like his vocals on this whole song. And it's like you said, it's just a song you kind of get lost in. And even if it loops back, you almost don't recognize that it restarted because it loops back so perfectly. And the EP plays really well to that aesthetic as well. And yeah, like subject wise, I really enjoy it too. Like feeling as if he like doesn't amount to who this girl like thinks that he should be, or maybe she wants him to be. That my favorite line as well. You already said it, but I won't give you a dime. All I have is time, and you waste it. Like, oh, just how relatable is that? You know what I mean? Like,
it's like a lot of that goes in line with like your friends really hate me. It's like, You know,
Who would have
it's
thought we
kind of
got
a
here?
look. I'm like, yeah, I feel like we're all moving brainless out here. It's like a lot of stuff doesn't make sense, and maybe I'm not the best, but you're also not the best person either.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Oh, isn't it like one of my favorite things? Not my, well, I shouldn't say favorite things, but one of the really great things about when you're kind of rocky in a relationship or whatever, like, let's say, like, looking back, if it's a relationship that's past, you're not going to obviously love everyone's, like, all the friends of your significant other or like people. It's just the kind of that. I mean, it's very rare, I think, that happens, but
very rare.
of course,
I think oftentimes it goes the other way around.
Exactly. But also, like, when you're in that relationship, you gotta, like, you gotta be, you gotta be nice, you gotta be kind, you gotta be polite, you gotta kind of play that role. And then once it starts to, like, completely go south, and, like, maybe he or she's criticizing you or whatever, you're just like, you know what, like, maybe he or she says, oh, like, my friends didn't like you. Well, you know what? I didn't like your friends either.
Right.
They ain't gonna be my friends now. You know what I mean? So I love that.
Or it's like, oh, go figure. Your friends don't like me. It's like, they only know one side of me from what you've told them.
That's true too. Exactly. So I think all that really I think the interpretation piece, like, you can see it both ways, or even both, or either or way, depending upon, like, the experiences that you've had as a person. So yeah, I just think it's relatable, it's accessible. I love the funk, the groove to it, and just, like, of course, like you said, there's a piece of hip hop in it, but it's really beyond that. I mean, it's I wouldn't even really, a lot of times I wouldn't really categorize him hip hop. I know Hills has more rapping than singing.
Hillsy definitely rapping a little bit. Hillsy definitely
rapping a little bit. Yeah. He's got the flow going, but the other songs for sure in his catalog definitely speak to more of a pop, psychedelic funk even, or like smooth R&B. He's a big fan of, like, a guy like Dominic Fike and Brockhampton, things like that. So, like, the influence is there. Like, I hear that. But I think he's doing a very putting a proprietary spin on his own too. So I'm glad you like the song as much as you did. Again, I'm glad that you are into a song that is a little bit more outside of what you normally would maybe listen to. So that's really sweet.
Yeah, man, something that's not boom bap, something that's not boom bap lyrics over your head top. Nah, sometimes you need something else, man. Sometimes you need something different.